Faker in Mortal Kombat with battle axes.
Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd, and today we are going to make ourselves a really cool custom Faker figure. So this is a figure from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and I've seen lots of people make really cool customs by mixing Faker and Terminator. So I went and bought some Terminator figures thinking this would be a really fun, cool custom to make, and this thing's been sitting in my box forever for me to finish making it. But when I got these Faker figures, they were made with really cheap plastic. It just snapped and it just was not working. And I thought I might have a fluke for the one. I mean, what's crazy is look at these joints on these figures. They're really cool. They're little pistons and everything else. But the kind of plastic they use, it just shatters and breaks. You can see right here I had to use some poster putty to hold it together just to make this guy stand. And so I opened the other one up and he's got the same problem. All his joints are like just ready to snap and break. It's like made out of really inexpensive, cheap plastic. I don't think this is the real Terminator figure. I think this is probably a knockoff of some sort. But anyway, there you go. So let's go ahead and talk about my next idea, which was to use these parts here. And these parts are from a Build-a-Figure. Oh, my microphone's aimed down. These parts are from a Build-a-Figure from Ultron. And I have a link in the description for the auction. And I was thinking about using these to create my cool custom Faker that has different parts. Now, I would have rather had a right arm instead of a left arm, but this is what was for sale. It's what I bought. So there we go. We'll go and try it out and see how it works. And maybe in the future I might get a right arm instead. Being it's this side of his face blasted off, would have made sense if it was this arm. But you know what? It might look cool having a left arm and a right leg going back and forth like he was hit from multiple places. So before I dive into this, let's go ahead and talk about Faker for a minute. So the idea of Faker was kind of a twofold idea. One, Mattel needed a quick way to make figures, and what a better way to make figures than just take the He-Man body, recast it in blue, and Skeletor armor, and bada bing, bada boom, you got a whole new figure. But to make this work, they stuck a sticker on his chest that had basically robotic parts to show that he was a robot made by Skeletor. Now, the question is, why the heck is he blue, right? Well, obviously, so kids can tell the difference. But you think about it, it could be that Skeletor didn't know what color people are. Maybe he just is colorblind. I don't know. They never really explained to us why the heck Faker was blue, but we saw later on in the Filmation cartoon they actually just made him regular Caucasian, same color as He-Man, and so just with glowing eyes. So a lot of us pretended like Faker would change from the blue that Skeletor would see him as to a regular He-Man figure. So you'd have to have two He-Man figures now, one to transform from Faker, the way he looks and the way he transforms to disguise himself. Now, later on, there was some stories written, the idea that he was Gar and that he went with blue skin to fool everybody so people would think that He-Man was Gar. I don't know. It just seems too crazy to me. Anyway, let's go ahead and set this one aside. This is one I got off eBay pretty inexpensively. And this is the Faker that I use all the time for my normal Faker. And he's like one of the first Fakers I ever got. And I actually made a head that would have two eyes that light up. And it was really cool. When you push his hair down, it had two LEDs, and I put little hearing aid batteries in the top of his head to make it work. And it was really cool. It actually worked really well. And I don't have the head to show you now. It's packed away in some boxes. But I've shown it before on this channel. And I think I have a video on it somewhere. So this is my normal, everyday Faker that I use. So let me go ahead and set him up here. Yeah, and then let's talk about the next Faker. Now this Faker is almost the same, but I decided to give him He-Man's gray weapons just because I had some extra Fakers sitting around, and I kind of like him with the gray weapons. I normally have a gray battle axe for him too. I must have left it in the box over there. So let's move on to the next faker. Now, the next faker was my battle armor faker. Now, the orange battle armor faker wasn't released, I don't think. I don't remember, because that came in the 2-pack and it was pretty hard to get a hold of. And so this one, I just gave him Skeletor's battle axe that came with the battle armor, Skeletor's sword, and then I just painted my own shield purple to give him all the stuff that He-Man has. And there you go. There was my cool battle armor faker. And then later on, yes, I acquired the orange battle armor faker. Oh, the coveted battle armor faker. It came in a 2-pack with a DC Bizarro Superman's crazy Bizarro reverse self of Superman, which is funny because basically Bizarro is almost like Faker to Superman, except for he's not a robot. But there you go. There is that cool, ooh, such an awesome. Now, I did use a black balloon down here in order to make the bottom part black as opposed to just being blue down there. Just like I used a purple balloon on this one too for the same reason. All right, so my last faker was Filmation inspired, and basically he is standard Caucasian. Now, to make this faker, I had to do some hair swaps because the normal battle damage He-Man comes with this orange bright hair, as you can see. And I wanted the darker hair on my battle armor one so it matches the other fakers. Because, you know, you got to have that darker look. So I was doing a lot of hair swaps and a lot of craziness. And so I decided to use that lighter orange hair that I took off this head here and put it on a regular standard He-Man head. And that orange matches the armor and all the parts. So I figured that's pretty funny to go along with that. So there you go. This is my Filmation version faker where he has the orange armor and the Caucasian He-Man body. But I gave him the bright orange hair to match, which I thought was pretty cool. So these are all of my fakers, and I have 5 of them. I have another one that can be easily transformed from a Kildor with purple Skeletor armor, and it's kind of a fun one too. But besides that one, these are my main 5 faker figures. All right, so it is time now for us to create. And you can see here are my other different heads. Look at this one too. I forgot I had this head made. Look at that. Dun, dun, dun. It's the newer He-Man head. Because when I started swapping over to the new faker, new He-Man, I had to have faker match, and it couldn't be, you know, the wrong face on there. I got a spare damage head. Here's the hair I stole the head from. All right. And extra parts, the battle damage. It's funny, my most expensive piece I bought that was the smallest was getting one of these battle damage pieces because I was missing one. And I had to buy one just separately just so I could have all of them. And I never use it. I just needed to have the collection complete. And I thought that one battle damage thing, I was just short forever. All right. Let's set all these aside so I don't accidentally destroy the wrong faker. And let's bring this one in. Let's get He-Man out of here too. No ruining the real figures. And let's get busy. Let's get down to business. All right. So let's take his sword out first. And let's think about how we want this to look and how we want it done. First of all, these are junk. You know what? I'm just going to toss these into the garbage right now because they just snap and break so easily. It's just not even worth. So you can see right here, this is really pulling right there, and it's just gonna snap. Oh, I think it just did break. Yep, the leg just broke off. It's just right on camera. It just snapped. Ooh, oh, that one snapped too. Yeah, see, this figure's just like really cheap stuff. It's not the real one. So these guys are going in the garbage. I don't want to use these on my custom and have it break. So, oh, now I'm dropping pieces. And it annoys me because I did spend a little bit on that. Not a ton, but a little bit. I'm going to keep the gun. Let's see how strong the plastic is on there. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I may or may not keep it. So now we have our faker, and we have these different appendages that I'm going to try to put on here. Now, all I have is the left arm, so that one's going to be stuck. And I want to swap it out at the forearm right here. So I'm hoping to take this arm off at the forearm and then make sure this thing fits just right. Dremel the holes larger so it will fit. Maybe you can drill them and then stick this in its place. And I might pop the blue hand back on. I haven't decided yet. But that would be kind of fun to see how that looks. So let's go ahead and get this apart first and see what we can do. And then we'll take his armor off. Oh, I gotta soak his head to get it off. This is not a standard He-Man or faker. This is one I got off of eBay. And I don't believe it's the official release one. All right. There we go. There we go. And while we're at it, we might as well heat this arm up as well to swap that out. And let's get the first arm out of there and see if we can't get it apart. Oh, come on out of there. Yeah, you can already see it's not an official release. The peg in the neck is purplish instead of blue, so that's a pretty dead giveaway. If I got out my UV flashlight right here, we could probably shine it on it and see other plastic inconsistencies in the coloring. Yep, it's definitely not an official release. You can see the coloring difference of his chest is way different than his arms. And you can spot that really easy with the black light. All right, let's go ahead and pull this apart. Droop, droop. There we go. We got that forearm. Piece of cake. And now, let's take this forearm apart. This will be a little bit harder to get apart than the last one was. You know what? I need to heat it up some more. Now, the water has to be at least 205 degrees whenever you're doing this heat and pop. And sometimes it takes a while for the temperature to propagate throughout the figure in order to pop it off. If you're using a setup like this, you want to have a lid and keep putting the lid on as needed to keep the water hot. Otherwise, it will cool down way too fast. Hooray! Now, even though I have the blue one here, once I put the new arm on, we're going to have actually, oh, that fits nicely. Look at that. This might go way easier than I thought. I'm not going to sand it at all. I'll just use this little pin here. And we will just pop this little pin right back in there. And let's see if we can't get this thing to go. Okay. Got the same problem I have with the He-Man figures. And that is when they cool down fast. Fast. All right. So let's pop this in one side. All right, where are my pliers? Let's do this right. Do it right to do it right, for crying out loud. Oop. Now I gotta find where that little piece went. All right, I'm gonna pause the camera while I'm looking. Hooray, I found it. There it is. There it is. Hooray. All right, so let's go ahead and try this again. Let's try this again, shall we? This time I will not use the pliers so I can get a better grip on it. E-gripper. There we go. Hooray, we got one side in. Now let's just flex this a little bit open. we got to heat it up to close it. There we go. Well, that was mighty easy. All right, let's pop this hand out and see if we should stick the blue hand back on. You know what? I'm not sticking the blue hand back on. I'm leaving the robotic hand on there. Not too shabby. Once that cools, it should firm up. All right, now for the leg. Dun, 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 dun. Now I got to decide if I want to use the right or the left leg. And you know what? I think I'm going to follow suit and use the left leg too. So let's try the same thing. I'm going to disconnect it down here at the bottom. And you know what? It's not going to work. I can already see it. Here's the problem. Here's your problem. Is this piece right here, as you bend it, this has the round part on it, and way up here is the part that connects to inside the knee. And by the time you add both pieces on there, it's going to make the leg way too long. Either I got to replace both of them or none of them, just because the way it's designed. So let's just for kicks try it to see how it looks. And then we'll probably have to go back and replace the other leg too for it to actually work. But just the one arm alone is pretty cool. I'm actually pretty happy just how that turned out looking. I could have actually placed it all over the bicep. Interesting. Now I'm rethinking that. You know what? Let's try that. Let's see how the bicep connects. Yeah, I don't want to put just the bicep on the other side, even though it does look pretty symmetrical. But I'm just curious. But this is, again, as a double jointed elbow, so it kind of is not the classics theme. Always takes so long for it to do its thing. Do it. Oh, not quite. Little bit more heat on there. The heat is bum 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 on. Doo 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 doo. Ouch. Doesn't look very deep. May not work. Yeah, that looks bad. We will leave it just the form. All right. I actually kind of like that. That is so crazy looking. Okay, time for his leg. Now, if this was a Masterverse figure, I could easily just pull it off right there and pop that piece off. Like, where's Roboto? Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. See, you could literally pull it off at the thigh and stick in a robot leg, which would be a pretty cool looking thing for Mr. Roboto. Just for kicks, I'm just going to see what this looks like. Now I got to know. But in the meanwhile, we will also stick him in there too. All right. I guess I should have put... Where's the other leg? What? What? I have two arms, not two legs. Oh, I could have made the right arm. Okay. I want the right arm. It's time to redo this. Thought I had 2 legs and 1 arm. I got a lot of super glue in there from when I was trying to make the joint tighter, so. Man. Okay, let's pull this back apart. Because I really want it to be the right arm. Well, now we know what we're doing. All right. I should have paid more attention before I started pulling them apart. See, that's why it's good to make a plan first instead of just going haphazardly, like the way we're doing it. You've heard of chip hazard? Well, I'm haphazard. I can't believe that. Where did I stick his original? Oh, that's in the water already. Like I've told you guys many times, I'm really glad my head is attached to my body, or I would have lost it a long time ago. It's like, where's that part? Where's that arm? Okay. Let's put this arm back together. Now that I've monkeyed it up. That water's cooling down way too much. Open. You guys are probably going, holy cow, this is like watching someone change a headlight on their car and doing the wrong side first. Yes, I know. I know, at this point I could have just done both arms and been done with it. But, there we go. Hooray, it's back to normal. Off to the other side. Meanwhile, let's get this leg disconnected. You want to keep the pin. Yeah, this is going to put it way too tall. It's a bummer, because it would have worked good for this bottom half down here. Alright, Gabe and Z, Dynam right arm. No, not my right arm. You know what? I need fresh hot water. This water is just too cooled down. I can't get the rubber soft enough. I'll be right back with some fresh hot water. Alright, I got some fresh hot water. Let's get back to business. Yes. Fun in customizing. Alright, let's see this now. If it's hot enough. Oh yeah. Definitely hotter. I'm not wanting to come apart. Come on apart. It's funny, the left side came so easy. Maybe I should just do the left side. It looked good. I was liking it. It's a bummer this isn't live right now, so we could talk about it and decide what to do. Whew, hot, hot, hot. Oh man, the pin came out again. Oh man, the pin came out. Let's put that back in. The small end. As we know, we're going to need it in there later. Fit, fit. Oh, come on. Oh, well. Good enough. We'll try that first. No, it's not going to work. We got to get that small end in there. There we go. All right. Let's try this again. There we go. Now it's much hotter. Excuse me. Go together. There we go. Now the small side disconnected. It's funny, the left went together so easily. The right's just giving us all kinds of problems. Now the problem with this leg, as you can see here, once I get it connected, it'll be way too long. That really stinks. Now, if I was apt to cutting on my figures, which I'm not, I could take and... Well, you know what? The boot does separate. You know what? That's our fix. That is it. I'm okay with cutting this, but I'm not okay with cutting... Yes, the way I have is the left leg. That's right. Already covered all that. That is tight, tight, tight. Need more heat to propagate. Maybe I should do the left arm because it's the left leg too. You know what? I'm switching back. You guys are probably thinking this is crazy. Going back and forth and back and forth. But being it's going to be his left leg, let's go ahead and put this back. Should have left it alone. Left it alone. But the good news is you guys get to see lots of footage on how to swap out parts. Open, close. There we go. Now let's open this. And try to take this apart. That's long. Look how long that piece is. And now, where is that leg? We need to cut it like mid-thigh right here. Right there. Well, that's heating up. Let's go and swap this back. I'll be right back with some big monster scissors. Alright, I got some of my big giant scissors, which I use for cutting limbs off all the time on figures. And I got some other scissors here which work really good too for cutting off pieces. So, now that we have this arm ready to be swapped back to the robot side, after I change my mind 28,000 times back and forth, See, this is what my wife has to put up with. I change my mind on stuff all the time. She's like, oh. And I'm like, hey, how about? Make up your mind, man. And it's funny. If I didn't have a choice, I would have wanted right. But now that I have a choice, I decided to go left. You're probably wondering what I'm trying to do. I just don't want to lose this part later on if I need to put it back together, which is why I hate cutting on classic figures. So I want to be able to put it back to original configuration if I choose to. There we go. So just put that pin back in there so I got it for later. And now let's get the left arm. That should heat up pretty quick. Get Mr. Roboto out of here. Alright. It's not lining up. It was so easy the first time we did it. Let's heat it up some more. Okay, so our goal is to make that leg the same length as this boot. So let's get it. Oops, let's knock my camera over. Let's get it out of the water. And let's take a look at where we need to be. So to make this cut, we need to be right here. So I'm going to take my big giant scissors here, and I'm going to stick his leg right into that slot on my scissors, and we're just going to chop it right there. And then we'll whoops, you guys need to see this. And then we'll readjust accordingly if we need to sand more off or less off. Here we go. There goes nothing. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Let's take a look and see how close we are. It's a little taller, but not too bad. A little bit of drummeling, sanding, and it'll be the right height. I'm going to go take it out and use my radial disc sander on it and make it the same height as this boot here. And then I'll be back in a minute while those parts are sitting in the hot water. All right, I got it all brought down to be the same height. There we go. Ooh, ah. So now it's time to do some drilling and make this actually fit onto that leg part. But before I do, let's just go ahead and press this together. Hug. Hug. Nope, no good. No go. Where is that little ball tool? There it is. There we go. Hooray! Now let that cool on its own. And let's put this leg back together that I pulled apart. All right. So let's go ahead and put this leg back on. See, that's hot enough yet. And like always, put the pin in first on at least one side, so you're not fighting both sides at once. And then just pop the leg in. And sometimes it can be a pain to get it back in all the way. So just heat it back up, and then push it in. If you need to, use this little ball piece here in order to shove it in all the way. And a hard corner on a table or something works good, like on a countertop where it's got harder material. But sometimes it goes in without that problem. Let's give it a shot and see if I can get it in. There we go. All right, well, my light just went out. Let me go and swap lights really quick. I have a spare over here charging. All right, got my spare light. Paching! Oh, bright light, bright light. All right, so we got his leg back on. We have this piece here that's going to go on there. And now we need to drill it down and put a little ring around it with our Dremel. So let's go ahead and make it happen. Make it happen, Captain. We'll start with this here and just start working our way down. All right, let me aim this down a little bit more so you guys don't miss the action. Action, action, action. All right, I got that started. It's going in pretty good. So now I'm going to stop and I'm going to change this out for a little bit larger barrel. And let's see if I can find the one I'm looking for. This is not quite the one I wanted. Oh, here it is. Here's the one I want. And it's too big. No. Okay. We'll use the smaller one. There we go. And we're just going to work it around and make that same shape in the top of this leg. It's going to be a little hard because the leg is smaller than that ring. So always challenging to cut this part out. All right, it's coming pretty good. Yes, it does take a while to get it just right. If you're pretty new at this, you may want to take and draw a circle on there first so you know exactly where to do this. It's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Turn this off and see what we got going on here. So you can see I kind of made that recessed area in there. You may have to get some scissors sometimes just to finish it off, to just get it just right. Get off of there. There we go. All right. Man, it takes the whole thing. Gotta go a lot bigger. Oop. All right, let's go and turn this off. And now we're going to switch back to the other cutter, and we're just going to hog it in there and heat it up super hot. And the purpose of that is to make it so the rubber is super rubbery, and we're going to just jam it onto the leg while it's hot, so it just forms the shape we want. All right, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Gotta crank this up a little bit. Well, that is getting hot, hot, hot. All right, let's try and turn that off. Time to the jam on session. Jam on it. There we go. That looks pretty darn cool. Now let's see how it is for height. See if it matches pretty close for the height part of it. Not too shabby. All right, so now we got our metal arm, we got our metal leg. Now let's pop the armor back on. Keep the head back up to pop it on. Terminator leg. Dun, 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 dun. And now let's get the head out of there and stick it on his head. Ugh. Sword. Shield. Battle axe. And we got ourselves a battle damage faker that looks pretty cool. Straight from the battle. Dun 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 dun. Yeah. I'm liking that. I'm liking it a lot. Alright, well that is all that I have. So now I have my final faker for my lineup. Just set him right there. Stand, man, stand. There we go. Let's get all the rest all lined up. Yep. And there they all are. Yes. Hey, what the heck, man? All right. Well, thanks for joining me. And like they say in the 1987 movie, good. Oh, there we go. Good journey. Bye now.
If you found enjoyment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Do it.